let's actually focus on something like the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, because what better way to distract yourself from your inner demons than a document from colonialism? Oh, let's see. Oh, did this looks different. It looks different on here. Share screen. There we go. Share, and then I need to pluck it up, pluck it up. Why is it not showing? There it is. No, I like me smaller on that. There we go, because this needs to be nice and big for people. And then we'll move it over. No, why if I do that? Okay. I am figuring this out as we go along. So, Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. We've been going over it, and so far we've covered the first column and a half, and there's still a lot of other columns to go over. But it's important to know this stuff because, like, a lot of people, including Canadians, know about the American, whatever you call it, your Constitution. You know, you have the right to remain silent or whatever it is that is on that piece of paper that you guys have. So most people know about it, but not too many people, including Canadians, know what's actually in the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. And let's scooch up here. Ooh, there we go. Nice and big. Nice and big for people. Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. And so I feel it's, oh, the scroll does work on this. Nice. I feel it's important to actually go over it and find out what it says. Because, you know, there are some, yes, Albert C. the Bill of Rights. There's important things in here. Like, we'll get to it. We haven't gotten to it yet. The notwithstanding clause, which is just a huge thorn in the side of the courts of Canada, because it's literally a clause within this Charter of Rights and Freedoms that allows the government to override our rights. And since it goes above the courts, there's literally nothing you can do about it. Nothing. You can't challenge it because chances are it's already a result of a challenge in the courts. And so you can't challenge it because it overrides the courts. And it was put in primarily to appease Quebec. And then Quebec went around and said, we're not signing it. So that's why you don't appease the provinces or states that are having temper tantrums, because it doesn't matter what you do, they're still not going to play ball. They won't, because it was put in there because Quebec is very, very strict about their language laws. There are language laws in Canada, has nothing to do with gender, everything to do with French. And they wanted to override people's rights, and they have a bunch of times, and so have other predominantly conservative governments. So it was put in there to appease them so that they could override people's rights when it came to language, and specifically Quebec culture and language. And then they just didn't even bother to sign on to it. Like, they still have to abide by it, and they have their own Charter of Rights and Freedoms. So it is a bit tricky there, but they basically snub their nose at it and saying, we are not going to sign that piece of paper. We have our own. Huh? So that's why you don't bother appeasing them. They either play ball or not. I guess you either play ball or no, you play ball. Like, it's just, you're in this country, like, unless you want to succeed, which you can't in this country as a province, you have to learn that the country doesn't center around any single province. Like, this is a joint project. We are supposed to be united in what the goals of this country are. And so you can't have these outliers saying me, 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 me all the time. Like Alberta is the prime example right now. That is always like me, 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 me. Think of me, me, me. It's all about me. When one province succeeds, we all succeed. And that's the goal. You know, we want to make sure that everyone across from coast to coast to coast succeeds. That's the goal. And you can't do that when you have one of the provinces constantly throwing a wrench into things. So anyway, I've been rambling long enough. Why don't we get into this fascinating subject of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms? Not something you would see on any other channel here, I think. Huh? That's what you get with a Canadian content creator on here. On here. I know there's several, but I'm pretty sure I'm the only one that gives like actual live content, unique live content. But you have the secret Canadian, David Dole, and Lance from the Surfs, although he's not secret. He's very open about it. But so many times people are like, what do you mean David Dole's Canadian? Yeah, he's Canadian. He's practically a neighbor of mine as far as, driving standards in Canada go. Anyway, shall we? We left off at official languages of Canada. And I think this might have changed. I meant to Google it ahead of time, because I don't know if it's gotten updated, like unofficially updated. To officially update this, you need like a constitutional blah, blah, blah. And it takes a lot. You need like 2/3 of the provinces, 60% of the people, blah, 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 something. Like you're not going to change the Constitution very easily. And so I think this might have changed slightly to include Indigenous languages. I'll have to check it out. The reference frame. Blaming Quebec for not signing is quite disingenuous, disappointing. What? They didn't sign. Quebec didn't sign. How am I that was Quebec's doing? Nobody forced them not to sign. I don't get it. Oh, okay. You're thinking that the whole thing was a mischaracterization of Quebec. I get it. I see you. They didn't sign. They have their own Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and they have their their reasonings and whatnot. But in the end, they didn't sign. So, official languages of Canada. English. I keep on looking over here, even though it's like right in front of me here, but it's bigger over here for me. So you'll have to excuse me as I'm looking away from where it is on your screen. English and French are the official languages of Canada and have equality of status and equal rights and privileges as to their use in all institutions of Parliament and Government of Canada. So on all of our packaging, we have English and French written out. All official government tweets and information sent out will be done in both English and French. You can always request one or the other language, no matter where you are in Canada. That's why, you always have the options when you're calling Government of Canada things to select French or English. There is a certain level of curriculum that you have to include if you're in one of the English-speaking provinces, to include French with it, as well as, some English resources have to be available in Quebec as well. It does make it a little bit challenging for corporations to get into Quebec for this, because Quebec has the language laws. And so there's stuff like they have to rename their company to a French name. So it can't. I worked at the head office of a retail company across Canada. We were known as one name, but in Quebec, we had to have a French name that was different, which means when it comes to packaging and branding and whatnot, you have to have it different for Quebec. And you can't have items with just English on it. You have to have both. And so it can become, when it comes to like bulk buying, because a lot of retail companies in particular will bulk buy from China when it comes to their products and stuff. It's hard to do that because the quantities would be so low for the amount of stores that you would have in Quebec. So a lot of corporations just don't bother. And, that to me, there's some pluses and minuses to that. Like the minuses is they don't have access to the same retail stores across the country. The bonus is they probably have a lot more independent and unique places to shop at, which is something I kind of miss, because there used to be a lot more of that when I was younger. But now, like in Quebec, there would be a lot more probably like independent chains or chains exclusive to Quebec that you wouldn't be able to find elsewhere in the province, which is a nice thing. I like that type of thing. I do enjoy, building culture within the different provinces and whatnot, and that's one way of doing it. It's just they can be super strict when it comes to the language.